Hi, good day. This is Dr. Anbu Selvan from University Tunku Abdraman, Malaysia. So, I'll take you through to install the um, required software, to develop a web applications based on Java EE. So, in this presentation, you will learn how to install Intellj, from JetBrains, and then JDK 11.04, as you can see here, PostgreSQL, the latest version 14.1, and then the Wildfly 17.0.1. So first of all, we will actually install JDK. So make sure you have all this software. Okay, so before we could actually install one by one. Right, so first of all, JDK will go first. Okay, click next. You may have several JDKs in your machine. That's not an issue, but you have to make sure, you should have only one JDK, that is default, active at a time, a default one. All right, so you can have JDK 8, JDK 11, or JDK 12, So once you have installed this, we need to configure the JDK, so that it will be a default one. So I need to go, first of all, I need to check where the installation path for JDK 11. So we go to the program files, and then you see JDK. Okay, so I'm accessing this file, this directory, because I want to get the path first, so it will be easier for me later on to place this path into the environment variables. So I copy this, and then we will go to the properties, and then environment variables. Okay, and over here, I'm going to create a new, what do you call, variable name, Java home. And okay, and after doing that, we need to set the path. So the new, that's it. So the bin, all right. So the difference between Java home, you don't have the bin, but the path, you have the bin, so you move up this, okay. So when in the case when you have JDK 8, and then JDK 11, you have to make sure, this one is moved up, all right, so that the system will recognize this JDK first, so that this will be the default one. So click OK. So we're going to test now whether this JDK 11 is the default one. So we're going to bring up this command prompt, run as administrator, and I just have to type this command, java dash version, that's it, 11.04. okay, done. Next, we need to install the PostgreSQL. Okay, so double click on this. So it takes a while to initialize. Click next. All this a default one, no changes. All right, next. Okay, password, to make things easier, just type in PostgreSQL, PostgreSQL. Click next. Default path, local, next, that's it. Okay. So if your machine is more sophisticated in terms like if it is, let's say it's i7 or i9, right? So it will be quite fast, all right, to get install all the software, right? So after installing this, then next we will install or we will restore data, right, from employees backup.sql file, right? So after that we will actually continue, right, installing the rest, the Intellj Wildfly. Okay, so it's about to complete the installation. All right. So if you want to develop a web applications based on Java EE, right? So these are the software, right? Um, that will be needed, right, to develop web applications, right? Development software. Okay, creating. All right. So we're actually about to complete the installation, right? Done. So this one uncheck stack builder we don't need actually, right? So just finish. Okay, this is done. So I'm gonna bring up pg admin. Okay, now before that, can we go to the properties, environment variables, path. Okay, so I want to add this the directory path for the bin, right? So where is it located? The PostgreSQL, right? So we just go here, PostgreSQL, there is, right? We access bin and we copy the entire path, because later on I'm going to use some commands, right, on the command prompt, right, to restore, right, and other things, so that when you open the command prompt right away you can just type in the commands without actually accessing the bin directory, right, in PostgreSQL. So you just have to done. Okay, copy, done, right? So now I can bring up this. Okay, right. Okay, so now I need to restore. Oops. Okay, so PLSQL, but before that I need to bring up the pg admin. Okay, pg admin is actually the interface, right, to access DBMS engine, right, PostgreSQL. It's just the interface. Okay, so password just now we set, right, PostgreSQL, POSTGRESQL. Okay, and then one more time, POSTGRESQL. Okay, so I'm going to create a new database, right, called employees. Okay, employees, save, done. All right. Okay, so we just minimize this, we don't close it, minimize. Now change here Postgres and employees. This is the name of the database that we just now created, right? This is a username. Okay, and then the file is over here, employee backup. So I'm gonna copy this. Okay, and what is the name of the file? So just copy this. Done. All right, and I hit the enter button. PostgreSQL, that's it. um okay, enter again. Oops. Yeah, all right, so I wrongly typed this employees, right? Employees. Okay, PostgreSQL. Okay, so it's actually restoring the data, right? It's actually a huge amount of records there, right? So it takes a while. After that, okay, finish. We'll close this and we go to the PG admin and we just click refresh, and you'll get to see here the schemas is already built. Employees, and go to the tables, it's already there, right? So you can just right click, check first 100 rows, right? So all this data are there. It's fine, it works well. Okay, so next we just minimize this. Okay, move on to the next. I'm going to install the IntelliJ, right? But before that, I'm going to copy this Wildfly. Right click this, copy this. We go to the documents and just paste it here. All right. Okay, now we need to check whether your Wildfly uh, can be actually can be whether you can start the Wildfly or not, right, from the command prompt. So it's very important. And then there is actually some commands uh, to initiate, to start and stop this Wildfly server, right? So start and stop Wildfly server. Okay, so is there over here Windows, alright, so there it is, the one, right? Okay, to stop the Wildfly server, alright, so this is the command. Okay, now what we need to do is we can just go here, standalone. Okay, where's the no, it's bin. We go to the bin and then look for something called standalone batch file, this one, right? So we just have to double click this, right? So you're going to start the server. Can you see that you're starting the server? Okay, all right. Okay, no issues. Okay, okay, so we need to check whether okay, so we always need to check whether your Wildfly is starting or not. So you started with errors, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the server first. Okay, so what is the command? Alright, so to shut down. Okay, I'm going to open up one more. Okay, so, oops, yeah, okay, there's one more that I forgot to configure, right? So what we can do, right, I'll go to the bin. I need to set the the path as well, right? So Control C. All right. Okay, environment variables. So we just need to add here, right? This for the server. That's it. Bin close. Right. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to copy this. Okay, so the commands can be recognized, right? Because you already set there, right? Okay, so we close this and we investigate what actually the main problem, the causing actually, right? The Wildfly to fail. So we go to standalone deployment. So I need to remove all this. Okay, remove this. Okay, so now I will start again the document. Okay, bin and the batch file, that is a standalone here. Okay, start again. Okay, so no issues, right? No issues, right? No errors and everything. Okay, so it works well. So if I want to shut down this manually, so I go to command prompt and copy this, shut down the server. Okay, done. Close. Right, so now your server is working. Now you can just install IntelliJ. Okay, follow all this and Java add bin folder of the path. Okay, three things, 1 2 3, right? So click next, install. So it takes a while to for the this software, right, to get installed in a machine. Okay, so we already have this. Next. Okay, this is done. Later on, right, manually to reboot. Okay, so I got to pull here. Okay, right, so I'm going to launch this. Okay, confirm, continue, don't send. Okay, so make sure, right, before you install this, right, you already have the account. Is a free, right, for educators, students, learners and the instructors. So I already have the account. I'm going to activate this first, login. Okay, Okay. Alright, done. And the next, I'll just activate. Okay, close. And new project. Well, okay, so the project name will be employee web app. This is a web application. No servers, you can actually configure that shortly. Utah, okay, 11.04, that's it. Okay, that's true. This now we actually configure 11.04, right? Okay, the next is application server, right? So we configure that first. New, right? Will be Wildfly server, and we just have to provide the path. That's it. It is under documents. It's under documents, right? Documents. Okay, never mind. You can just go here. Documents. There you are. Okay. Right. Okay. And all this, you just check again. Click next, and make sure, right, you check all of them. Okay, you just click here, full platform. That's it. Okay, and then Hibernate. Make sure you check this both. Okay, and finish. That's it. Okay, close this. Alright, so I'm going to close this. Alright. Okay, indexing. Now, when you start working with the Intellj, right, because when you create a web application, right, you have to make sure, right, whether the JDK is communicating well with Intellj or not, and then the application server as well as the DBMS, right. So you're going to check all of them first before you start working on the project. Okay. So it takes a while. Okay, it's loading everything. This is JDK 11. Alright. Okay, Mavint. So it's downloading the thing, right? Yeah. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna close this. It's still downloading, alright. Plugins. This is only for the very first time, right? Because it will download all the dependencies using the Maven. So that is why it takes time. Make sure you have a good internet connection, right? Because you will download all the dependencies. It can be quite heavy, right? Okay. Right, so downloading, right. Okay, so while waiting for that, we do other things. We check first the settings. Okay, so let's see here, application server, whether we have configured. Yeah, it is already configured. Okay, right, it is there. Okay, and all right, close this, and we can configure, right, edit configurations. We just cross check uh, whether we need to do any other things or not. Update classes, resources, that's fine. Default, you can change the browser, right? Default browser you can change to Firefox or something else. Deployment, no issues. Okay, so all this correct the settings and click OK. So it is done. All right, already downloaded everything. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is what we already set the application server. We want to check whether the JDK, right, is set properly or not. So I can just go here, program structure, project structure. Yeah, JDK 11, that's fine. Okay, okay, SDK 11, global. It's okay now. 11. All right. So if you want to add JDK 1.8, you can always add here, right? Add new SDK, no issues. Okay, now the other thing that we need to configure here, right? So the moment you create a new web application, you'll see a standard folders here, right? Java here, this all created automatically, right, by default, and then you see resources, okay, and then you see a web app, right, and then under here web.xml. So I wanted to get this file, okay, which is this. I wanted to copy this, right click, copy JBoss deployment structure. Okay, and then we go here, and then we just right away paste it here. Okay, that's it, right, and then we just close this, done. Okay, all right, next, this is done. Okay, now we need to configure in such a way that the war file, right, the output of the file, jar file, right, the war file. Okay, so we need to change the settings here. So we go to the project structure, artifacts, and I want you to change this part. So no changes over here. You can just put here include in project bill. Okay, project bill. All right, so click apply, click OK. All right, so let's see if we could run this. All right, so we just run this. So it'll start the server, right? Over here we can see, right, just like how we start the server just now manually, right? Okay, so you'll see the same thing over here. See, got any issues here or not? Okay. Okay, so successful, right? When you get to see this, right, then it's successful, right? Okay, and over here. Okay, now you have here already. Okay, that's it. This part is done. So next, the other thing that you need to do is you need to press Control Alternate S, Control Alternate S, right? Control Alternate S together, and then look for language frameworks, JavaScript, under JavaScript, right? And then under that you look for libraries. Okay, okay, so over here, right, we need to add something here. We call it here download. Okay, just right away click here, download. Right, and then look for jQuery. Do you have jQuery here? mm. jQuery. Right, jQuery. Because later on you will be using the jQuery at the client side, so we need to have this library, right, so that the codes jQuery, right, will work in your application. So this is jQuery. Download, install. Okay, successfully downloaded. Okay, this what that is why you're seeing this. Type global, click OK, finish, right. And when you go here, settings, not settings, when you see the project structure, when you go to global libraries, it's already there, right. Just now we downloaded, it comes under the global libraries. SDK is a JDK. Okay, alright, so all this done. Next we need to import the plugin, right. So settings. Okay, so we go to the plugins, right. So I need to install what we call here, I need to find that. Okay, enterprise EJB. Alright, EJB, this one, install this. Alright, installed. Okay, EJB, click OK. Alright, done. Okay, what else? So I'm going to just rerun this, check out any errors or not. Okay, okay, so far it's working well. Alright, we have configured all this, servers done. Next is the database. So how your IntelliJ is going to communicate with the database, right, located outside of the IDE, right. So we need to configure something here. First of all, new, I will say that this is driver and data source, right. Okay, driver and data source. So first of all, I need to configure the driver first. Okay, so user, so I'll name it here PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL. Okay, SQL. Okay, so it's supposed to be PostgreSQL. I mean, we just follow this PostgreSQL. Okay. So I guess that the PostgreSQL, right, we don't have that driver first. It's not downloaded, so we download this first, right. We can download first. Okay, so download. Okay, so for 42.2, right, so we already downloaded. Okay, now we go to here and get the driver, options, that will be PostgreSQL. That's the one, right. Okay, this one already have done, right. So this is the driver, and that's it. Click apply, and okay, so after clicking apply, next is the create data source. Okay, they create data source, right. So create data source, I don't need this. Okay, data source, right, so you can make it like employee web app. Okay, data source. Okay, PostgreSQL. Alright, so over here, right, we need to provide Postgres, the username, password is PostgreSQL URL. Okay, so you can copy this. Okay, this is supposed to be localhost. Port is 5432. The database is employees. Okay, so after that we try to connect to this database, whether it's working or not. Yes, succeeded, no issues. After that apply, but before that schemas default, we just choose only these employees. Right, apply. Okay, all right, done. Right. Okay, now the moment actually, right, you set that, right, immediately you will see this will appear lah, employee web data source console, right. So we can actually check whether you can communicate with database or not from the ID itself. So you're going to expand this. Then you have employees, tables. Okay, so right click, and I'm going to test, right, some SQL things. Right, select perhaps Andros. Right, okay, select, maybe limit 100. Employees is supposed to be employees. Okay, so we just run this. Yeah, right, so getting 100 records. So it works well. Your ID is able to communicate with database, right? So no issues, right? So later on we will do more advanced stuff, other stuff, right, to pull the data, right, into your application. So far, right, you have successfully, right, configured, right, your ID with the database, right, external and also the server. All right, so we can just close this. All right, we can just hide this, no issues, right, and you can just close this. All right, and you can just clear all this, and that's it, right. So far, right, so all this have been configured, so it's working well, right. Okay, okay, so I guess that's all right. This is how you have to install your ID IntelliJ, right, and then before that you must install your JDK 11, after that PostgreSQL, and then your Wildfly server, then the last one will be this, right, IntelliJ. Okay, so this for the restoring, and this is to actually, right, to communicate with database, right, from the IDE, right. Okay, so this is done. Okay, right, so I guess that's all right. So make sure, right, you install the JDK first. All right, after that followed by the PostgreSQL, then followed by Wildfly. Okay, then make sure you actually configured appropriate path in the environment variables. All right, okay, so that's all. All right, bye.